We're continuing with Revelation. We're in chapter 4 today. Chapter 4 is pretty short, but it's got all kinds of numbers and things like that in it. If you can remember where we started with all this stuff, we kind of did Daniel so long ago, and in the literature of Revelation is not too dissimilar from Daniel, and oftentimes I think we kind of read this stuff kind of pridefully, I guess, and we think the song is about us type of thing, and it is, but it's also about the time when it's written, and I think that's where its brilliance is, like, because the temptation is for us to pinpoint. It's like, oh, this is about to happen in 37 years, or in 2012 at this time, and that this is going to happen. And I think a lot of that is hogwash. But we can see the pattern that it's being said, because I think this is a lot about Babylon, or Babylon has a different name in Revelation. It's about Rome, and it's about Babylon and how Babylon acts. So that's kind of how we saw in Daniel how Babylon acted, and we can look and see what happened through all of that, and we can see similar shades in through here, because there's always going to be a Babylon. There's always going to be a Babylon, and our try is like, how are we faithful in the midst of Babylon? Or, as it's kind of talking to the church through these 7 churches, which is kind of all the churches there, is like, how do you overcome? And I think there's this duality of that overcome message, that the overcoming is through the Christ, but also through faithfulness through us. So you have this kind of duality thing going. So we'll go through that. So with everything we talked about before, did anyone have any comments about any of that before we read chapter 4? Oh, Elaine just came in. No one? Oh man, is this how today's going to be? Is this how it's going to be? Hi, Elaine. Good to see you. Yeah. Good morning. We just did the overall thing. We're about to read chapter 4, and so let's see. All right, so we'll go ahead and share the screen. Let me make sure that I'm on my right screen here. Oh, let me get to the right chapter. Oh, maybe.
Back to 1.
Oh man. Oh, and then as soon as I hit the button, it loaded. All right, here we go. So let me share the screen, and we'll go forward here. So you need to share sound, optimize for video, share. All right, you guys let me know on Zoom if something's going wrong.
After these things I looked, and behold, a door standing open in heaven. And the first voice which I heard was like a trumpet speaking with me.
Come up here, and I will show you things which must take place after this.
Immediately I was in the Spirit, and behold, a throne set in heaven, and one sat on the throne. And he who sat there was like a jasper and a sardius stone in appearance. And there was a rainbow around the throne, in appearance like an emerald. Around the throne were 24 thrones, and on the thrones I saw 24 elders sitting, clothed in white robes, and they had crowns of gold on their heads. And from the throne proceeded lightning, thundering, and voices. 7 lamps of fire were burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of God. Before the throne there was a sea of glass like crystal, and in the midst of the throne and around the throne were 4 living creatures full of eyes in front and in back. The first living creature was like a lion, the second living creature like a calf, The third living creature had a face like a man, and the fourth living creature was like a flying eagle. The four living creatures, each having 6 wings, were full of eyes around and within, and they do not rest day or night.
Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come.
Whenever the living creatures give glory and honor and thanks to him who sits on the throne, who lives forever and ever, the 24 elders fall down before him who sits on the throne and worship him who lives forever and ever, and cast their crowns before the throne.
You are worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for you created all things, and by your will they exist and were created.
Oh, it's so short. I wasn't like easy there. Easy, guys, easy. Okay. All right. So I have thoughts about all of this. What are your guys' thoughts? What stood out to you in this short chapter 4? Anything?
Sounds like they're getting into the future.
Into the future? Okay.
Things that we haven't heard before.
Okay. All right.
I think it's not the future. I think he's talking more about what's there, what was on earth, like the churches, the 24 elders, the history of us, right?
To
24 elders, like the churches and the prophets. And
Okay.
everything that's-
yeah, so you got 24. 24 is an important number.
The 12 tribes and the 12 apostles.
Yeah.
So the past and the present.
Yeah.
Everything. What's
Yes, all the people of God, right? Yeah, like that. That's what it sounds like to me.
So it's
Like that's.
Is that more of an introduction book into the what we're gonna?
So I think that's what's going on here. It's like an introduction.
Yeah.
Like I think there's stuff happening in this chapter that's telling us that we need to remember chapter 4, and that it is like the Rosetta Stone for what's happening later on, for what's going on. So I think it's kind of setting up how we should look at some of these things that end up looking crazy later, but we see what's going on. So one of them that I'll point out real fast that I saw was the lampstands. So what are the lampstands here in 4?
Churches?
Like they're the
7 churches?
yeah, so churches. And how does it describe them? How does it describe the
Fire burning before the throne.
Yeah. So I'm looking
All
forward
the
to
lightnings
getting
and
to.
the thunders.
Yeah.
Well, what is where's the verse where the lampstands are?
5.
5. Oh, I went too far. That's why I couldn't find them.
Proceeded lightnings
Yeah,
and thunders
lightning.
and voices.
So the throne proceeds lightning, thunder, voices, 7 lampstands of fire were burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of God. Right, like that. That's so. How does the other translations render 7 spirits? Does it say spirits? It says churches. Let's look at
Because you're
7 spirits.
7 spirits. Okay, let's look at.
Then it says also judgment.
Yeah. So
Because of the fire in there.
I want to look.
What word do you have where it says spirits though?
I'm sorry.
What word do you have where spirits is verse 5?
7 spirits of God.
Yeah, and then it's, okay.
Yeah.
Defined as judgment.
Okay. All right. Zoom. I'm going to share my screen
Fire,
again.
Usually it's judgment.
Okay. So
Cleaning.
we're going to share this. Okay. So this is the Interlinear Bible, and so let's see. So we screw like that. We don't need to see ads that are that big. So the lamps of fire burning before the throne are the 7 spirits. So pneumata. So it is spirits is the literal word. Let's see. What is this? Like spirit. I mean, this is going to be everywhere. because it's a very common word. So all right, so we'll back up a little here. So this word right here.
What language is that in?
That's Greek. That's Greek. That's the original. That's the one that the Bible has been in for a long time. Like these are kind of the original stuff in it. So
I thought I recognized it.
Yeah. From your sorority days.
Yes.
No, that's yeah.
Breaking into sorority houses.
Yeah.
And spirit and angels aren't the same.
No. So angel, no, they're not. So in the Old Testament, New Testament's a little different. But in the Old Testament, with the word that gets translated as angels is actually it's the same word that for the prophet Malachi. So it's Malach, and that actually means messenger. In the sense of angels in the Bible is ones that are conveying the message of God to the people. We have kind of like messed with that message a little bit. Like we kind of, it's pretty new that it's like, oh well, like these messengers are these angels are these like things of like divine force and all that stuff, and that's not really how they're presented. We can see how that relates to it, but I don't think the original authors would be looking at that as like angels.
The reason I asked that is because it's when you went back to where the lukewarm church was.
Yeah.
When each church has got an angel that he speaks of.
Okay, where does it say? What verse is that again?
14.
Oh, the angel of the church.
Yeah.
So like the messenger of the church.
Messenger of the church.
Yeah,
so then when it went to seven spirits of God, I didn't know if that's way.
Okay, I see where you're getting that. I see where you're getting that. That's good correlation. I see where you're getting that. So what do we think? Those seven spirits of God. What do we think's going on there?
My
Lutheran Study Bible.
My Bible for Dummies.
Yeah.
Sent me down the road to 3 other books: Ezekiel, Daniel, and Zechariah. Which now you're nodding because you know this stuff. The Study Bible suggests before you read Revelation, read those 3 books, and nothing then is stunning or shocking, because in each of these books, you've got the throne, you've got the spirits. Now the spirits can be viewed as the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
It's a repeated theme, whereas
It's 7 spirits. Does that mean it's the whole?
the complete 7.
There we go. Yeah. Like I think that complete picture there. Yeah.
The 7 spirits.
The same spirit.
About is
Yeah.
the holiness.
Wrote it right on the bottom.
Yeah.
7 complete.
Okay.
So, like, to interrupt Mick just for a second and all these things, what I want to point out about all these is these 7 golden lampstands play a part in the rest of the book. You know, like that over there, these lampstands come up again and all that stuff. And we need to remember, because it's really common to go off and say something else besides what's being said right here about the lampstands later on. So we need to remember when we get to it, you know, in 10 months. And like, just kidding. Like but we're to come back and go, this is how those lampstands were defined over there. Because I'm pretty sure the lampstands come up again in relation to this with the 2 witnesses. But but that's way down near the end. And it's tempting to define them a different way. And that helps us with the witnesses later on.
So you do plan to rush this, then get it done in more than 10 months?
3 weeks. 3 weeks. That's like.
So I don't understand what the lamps are. 7 lamps of fire burning. What do you say that? What is that? What is a 7 lamp?
Well, so to be general, and I'll let someone else answer this, but general, it's something good.
Yeah.
Like that's,
Heavenly.
yeah. So how else would someone else want to answer that?
I thought of it as the light of the world.
The light of the world. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, you like that? They like that on
Seven
the
churches, the light.
Oh, Elaine.
Right.
In the study Bible, it refers to the seven spirits, and then refers back to Revelation chapter 1, verse 4, to the footnote. And the footnote back there says the sevenfold description of the Holy Spirit in Isaiah 11:2. And the seven things that are mentioned are of the Lord, of wisdom, of understanding, of counsel, of power, of knowledge, and of the fear of the Lord.
Okay. Yeah. So it's almost like this like full Godhead idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that, just reading this chapter 4 that kind of popped out in my mind was how we pull pieces of that for our liturgy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Does something come up to your mind that you're thinking of?
Well, the holy, holy, holy,
Oh, yeah.
We say that every week.
We do. There's a lot of the liturgy that's taken straight from scriptures.
Yeah.
And so like that's why I asked like which part of it like that you're hearing.
The 24 elders keep saying when they're praising.
Yeah. Holy, holy, holy. Yeah.
Yeah, the ESV Bible suggested that verses 8 till the end suggests worship.
Hey, you're not allowed to close that book yet.
Suggests, our plan for worship.
Okay, yeah. And so it's almost like this, because those holy, holy, holy phrases that the church says are very old phrases. There's a lot of stuff and that have been said in worship for a very long time, like over there. So that's, it's a good callback to that. All right, so we have those seven spirits. So it's something good. It's like the full Godhead, like that. That's over there, and it's connected to these lampstands. This idea. And if you think about, it's not seven, but like you have the menorah in the temple.
That's what Peterson calls them in his Bible.
He calls it.
Read Revelation.
Okay, he calls it the menorah. Okay, yeah, which represents the presence of God, like all that stuff. So, in the temple worship and all that, because this is all related. I'm going to say this in the sermon this week, but I think it helps us with here too. This week's sermon is about Acts 15, and that's the Jerusalem Council when there's all these uncircumcised Gentiles that the Spirit of God is doing things, and the church decides to be like, well, I guess circumcision isn't necessary. What's interesting about that is when we quote the Bible and say that circumcision isn't necessary, we're quoting things. Everything we quote was written after that council. And so when we are thinking about the worship that's being set up and the holy, holy, holy phrase and all these things, like all this stuff, he's not just reading like Paul's letters, when he's doing all this. Like this is all, it's all looking back into the Old Testament and all of that. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe it will one day when you're thinking about it in 3 years. But that's kind of crazy. So it's always looking back there. All right. One thing I want to talk about. All right, what else stood out to us? Because there's a bunch of stuff here.
Sea of glass.
The sea of glass. Let's see here. So before we get to that, I want to get to something similar. The chapter, verse 2. Verse 2 is like a throne set in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
One sat on the throne, and he who sat on it was like jasper and a sardis stone in appearance, and it was like a rainbow around the throne. Like what? And in appearance was like an emerald. My mind went somewhere in that does that cause you to what does it cause you to think of? Like that holy throne?
Well, that's God's throne.
That's God's throne? Yeah. Where else have we seen it look like that? Like isn't that how Exodus, when Moses walks up the mountain? Doesn't it like his feet are like glass and like all that stuff?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like that.
Description, yeah.
Yeah, like that when he goes up the mountain. Like that's where my mind went. Like I don't know how valid that is, but like that's where I went with it. And then you also look like a rainbow around the throne. Like you have the promises of God to not. Now remember, we often make Revelation this super scary thing, but when we're looking at the rubric at the beginning, when we're looking at the throne of God, we see a rainbow around it. And the rainbow is the promise that was given to Noah that of the non-destruction again. I think that's key. I think we're about to delve into a story that looks kind of crazy in a fever dream, and we're given the rubric about how we're supposed to read it, right up top here. Like that. Does that make sense? Like that. Like that's I'll quick explain rainbow stuff again, real fast. I wrote in college I wrote a paper on the rainbow, like all that stuff, all the theories behind the rainbow. My favorite theory about the rainbow is, do you know why we shake hands? Have I explained the rainbow to everyone in here? Like all that stuff. Do you know why we shake hands? So shaking hands is a medieval knight. Yeah, and so because they're all right-handed, and you shake hands with your right hand, and that it's a sign of peace because you're not holding your sword, right? All that stuff. So that's where the shaking of hands came from. So before swords, what was a sign of peace? Like that was in the advent of swords. When you were doing bows and arrows, the way that you would show someone peace would be you would hold your bow out with the string facing your enemy. So it's called a rainbow, and so during that time, the bow, if you think about it, it's facing towards God. So it's almost like, this is my favorite theory behind it. It's all a theory and all that stuff, but it's my favorite one because I think it's beautiful. It's this image of God holding the bow that way towards the people. You see that? Like yeah, see, cool, right? And yeah,
How you doing the paper?
I did well on that one. I did well on that one, and so that was that was the first time I wrote an exegetical paper where a lot of the books I were using, the commentaries were actually in Hebrew, and I was having to translate. It was tedious, and so that's so you see this picture of like the holiness and the almost the power of God's throne with the rainbow around it, and so think about what we're getting into with all this imagery from Daniel and Ezekiel and all those things. You know, it's all this stuff looks incredibly powerful, and yet we're right here at the beginning. We're given this view, you know, of this power, yet of reminding us of the peace of God. So, and then we have like all throughout history the 24 elders and these 7 golden lampstands, and then we get to the sea of glass like crystal. Like what do you think what's that signifying? I'm not sure, but like that
sounds like tranquility.
Tranquility.
Peace.
Okay.
It's the opposite. I'm relying on the notes.
Yeah.
It's typically the sea is turmoil and danger, and here it's placid, it's peaceful. It's the opposite of what we come to expect the sea to mean.
Yeah.
It's glass-like.
Especially in that day when everybody was afraid of the sea. And
Leviathan. All the goodies. Yeah. The sea is always like, remember, like Jesus, it was a big deal when Jesus caused the sea to become like glass. Remember, like that he was causing this chaos agent to be like subdued and all that stuff. So yeah, it's like this tranquil idea. I think tranquil is a good image there.
One of the notes on verse 3 with the description of the throne is that, let me read it again here, that the halls of heaven are far more splendid than the best that Rome has to offer.
Oh yeah.
Gotta get a little shot in that.
Yeah.
I like that one.
So also, what's good to remember, no, and that's great. What's good to remember, so remember the lampstands are going to come up later. Also, the sea comes in later. Remember, the beast comes out of the sea. So we're
Is that meant for the people though? Wasn't that sea also used as the people at one time?
oh, like the people are like, I think so. They're like a sea. They're like a sea, like all that stuff. Yeah.
It's like the sands were also used the same way.
Yeah, like just this vast and like the chaos stuff is probably part of that too. But so like we'll see this stuff come up again, and we need to remember when these words are being used, we're giving the glossary here at the beginning, I think. That it's like stuff that we're going to see later on, we're given the terms. So again, so what are we introduced with here right after the tranquil crystal sea? Like these creatures, right? These creatures, and how many of them are there? 4. So like what do you, I have a theory about what 4 means. What do you guys think? 4. Like that's, if you guys remember my theory, you can say it, but like that's like why is there 4 of them?
North, south, east, and west.
That's what I think. That's what I think.
Oh, aren't you just so smart?
Yeah.
Teachers.
We get together before.
Yeah.
So it's all encompassing?
I think that's another thing for all encompassing. It's universal. Like, and so remember in Daniel, there were also 4-headed beasts.
Yeah.
There's all this stuff that I think we're given another glossary term, that there's going to be some scary stuff that we're going to encounter here that also uses this 4 number. But I think it's telling us, it's like, hey, like remember to look at all this stuff through the glossary. You know, that it's not as bad, you know?
All encompassing, but eyes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That all sees everything.
See, I think it sees everything. Because like, I love it when people try to draw this stuff, like, and they have the eyes everywhere. I think that conceptual idea of like, oh, and it's got eyes everywhere. It's like how we describe, you know, when you're a little kid and you describe your mom. Like in that, like, you know, like that, all that stuff. And so like you have all these eyes and all that stuff like that, so they could see everywhere, you know, all this stuff. So I don't think really this stuff's meant to be drawn out, but it's like, oh yeah, like, so they can see everything. And so what
and inside, they can see inside of you too.
Inside of you too, like that, like Lord looks at the heart type of stuff.
That's the main one.
Yeah. And so then what are these living creatures? What are these living creatures? So we got lion, calf,
Man.
that man, like face like a man, yeah.
So that's
And
the eagle.
the flying eagle, which eagle, I'm not sure. Let's look it up real fast. Let's look it up. So this is what, verse 7?
Another vulture.
Yeah, like in the Old Testament, there's no distinction between the word for eagle and vulture. And so like that's, and so like that song that we like to sing is like, and I'll lift you up on buzzard's wings. Like that's, and so like that's all those like eagle words that are indicated there. That's stuff. So let me get to the verse, then I'll pull the live stream over. Let's see. So I want to see. I can't remember if that's what happens in Greek or not.
Yeah,
let's see, where's Zoom? And then let's see here, so share.
Remember that word was for the zoo. That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
creatures that we
Let's
talked
get rid of the ad again. All right, here we go. And then the face of a man, the fourth living creature, like an eagle. Let's see, what's this word? Like an eagle. Oh, it's the only time it's used.
Eagle is eagle.
Like that's it's the only time it's used. So what is? Let's look at a different. Let's see. Matthew, it's used for vultures.
Wasn't it used in Isaiah?
So it's so yeah, but this is Greek.
Up by,
Yeah, and on the eagle's wings.
Isaiah.
And so it is so another ending on it. So it's being used a little differently. Is vultures. When Jesus talks, and the vultures will be gathered together in Matthew chapter 24, like that, sort of Luke 17, like that. So again, so Greek is using it, and here's the dirty secret: eagles don't really exist in that region. So it would, but you think about it, we kind of view vultures with disdain, but if you think about like watching like a vulture, what it does, like it's soaring, and it's they hardly ever flap, like that. So it still works, but it's just, the reason why I'm pointing this out is we in this country have an affinity towards the eagle, right?
Of course.
Rome also had an affinity towards the eagle, and so that's why those get kind of translated that way in those things, and we have less of affinity towards vulture and stuff like that. So that's why I kind of pointed out. It's like okay, we need to and sometimes we need to take out our affinity towards certain animals in the translations, and like, oh, like this is kind of like, this could mean something else. So does the NIV translate it as eagles, or the other? Yeah, eagle.
Yeah.
So everyone does eagle, but it's the same word that we translate in other places in the Gospels as vulture. So just remember, it's a big winged bird, big winged bird, and so that's so we have lion, calf, face like a man, and then big winged bird, with or soaring bird, we could say, soaring bird. So what do you think those?
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Mine has ox.
Ox where?
Yeah, that's her.
One
of my
the second living
translations
creature
is
was like an ox.
Is that verse 6?
7.
Oh, it's 7?
Yeah.
The
First living
first
creature.
was a lion, the second like an ox, the third
Yeah.
a
Mine
face like
says
a
calf.
human.
Yeah.
Okay, so second is like a. So let's see. Let's look at the word. Let's look at the word. It's used once again. Let's look at a different. So calf. So what goats and calves? Hebrews. So is.
Oh,
It was an oxen in one of the translations I read.
Yeah.
the goats and calves are.
So is that. So are we? And this is me just thinking. Oh, here let me share it with Zoom real fast. Sorry, guys. The so this is the word right here used in a different way. So you see Hebrews 9 and then Hebrews 9, like verse 12 and 19. It says blood of calves, goats and calves. So that's basically the same word that's used in Revelation. So are we getting across an idea of like a sacrificial animal? Like is that kind of how it's being used?
Even the oxen were slain for one of the prophets in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Is that what this is about, sacrifice then?
So it's, and I don't know.
I thought of it as strength.
Strength.
The ox pulling the
Yeah.
farming was.
Mm-hmm. Because it also, yeah.
That's another way of looking at it.
So I don't know if this is valid or not, so tell me if it isn't. Are these different images of Jesus that we have here?
Lion is God.
Like Lion of the tribe of Judah, you know, you have the sacrificial lamb, sacrificial oxen type of thing.
I wrote this many years ago. Jesus, the complete picture.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
that's
They're
me.
all,
I probably wrote that 20 years
attributes
ago.
of Christ.
All attributes of Christ.
Right.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
That's really the way it's supposed to be.
So what you're seeing here, so because we're going to be introduced to some fourfold beasts coming up who are being boastful. I remember our image in Daniel, you had four-headed creature and the one horn
Right.
that ended up being super boasty, you know, that said all kinds of blasphemies and all that stuff. And so you have these attributes of Christ, so it's kind of the full encompassing in the world, like the four cardinal directions, idea of Christ. So that's okay, cool. And they don't, and let's see, and they do not rest day or night, saying, "Holy, holy, holy, Lord God is mighty, who was and is to come." That all jives there.
That's, what's the 6 wings they talk about? They all have 6 wings.
Cherubs had 6 wings.
Yeah, the cherubim, like the cherubim.
Oh,
Do they have them here?
Yeah.
Where are they at?
Flying eagles, 8.
Oh, yeah, you have
The
wings. Yeah,
living
so
creatures, each having 6 wings, were full of eyes and within, but they all have 6 wings. I didn't know what that meant.
6 wings. So I don't know. What do you guys think? What's 6 wings mean? What's 6 wings?
I think there is an explanation in the Old Testament, but I can't. It's not in
Yeah.
my head right now. Where it
There's a couple of things going on here with 6 wings.
I don't have nothing.
Is that a Trinitarian thing that there's actually 3?
That's stretching it.
Yeah, it doesn't say 3, but it's kind of hard to have 7 wings. like that's, but it mentions it. I don't know what to do with it.
It's kind of hard to have 7 wings. These creatures have multi-eyes, you know.
Well, it's hard to have
Anything's
7.
possible.
Yeah, one's just waving in the top. Well,
This one says this mirrors the vision of seraphs.
the seraphs. Okay, so it's like the cherubim and seraphim in Isaiah is what it. It's what it sounds like, So there's one was covering their eyes.
Yep.
One was like.
If you take verse 7 also, I think it was also the whole world, everybody that was worshiping God was the animals, the man,
Okay, yeah.
entire.
So it's kind of an all-encompassing.
comes together and bows down.
And that's kind of how we view body of Christ language. Like the creation
Right.
is kind of shouting out like that. That's yeah. So like the 6 wings. I'm not sure what to do with that, but and it's probably something that's going to come in later too. And so that. But generally, so what Gloria just talked about. So we have face of a man, all these things. 6 isn't a bad number. 6 is just incomplete. And Jesus was a human. So 6, 666 isn't the bad thing. It's just human. And it's this human number. So maybe it has something to do with that.
Maybe it has something to do with it not being finished, and they're telling you that this is now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite finished yet. There's more to go.
Yeah. So it could be, and it could be representing those 4 cardinal directions and how another representation of man, and because we're kind of seeing the full Christ, come in this vision of these 4 animals with the attributes of Christ, over there, and so that 6 could be part of that attribute there. Let's see here, but it's also got the cherubim and seraphim from Isaiah. That's going on there too.
6.
Yeah, that's the great call.
Isaiah.
And then let's see here. So whenever the living creatures give glory and honor and thanks to him who sits on the throne, lives forever and ever. The 24 elders fall down before him who sits on the throne. So again, that 24 elders sounds like the 12 tribes of Israel, 12 disciples. So it's like the full
world.
Yeah, the fullness of the story of God type of thing, and the people of God. And they cast their crowns before the throne, so that they. So what's that image? Before I just explain, when they're throwing their crowns down, is that what it says in the other English translations? Yeah, casting the crowns down. The what is that an image of? What do you think? What does it mean for them to throw their crowns down?
There's but one King of Kings.
Yeah, they're throwing their power. It's like we have no power outside of you.
Question to you, Ed. You said that 24 reflects before and after, and I still don't follow that.
The before the 12 tribes, and after the 12 apostles.
Thank you.
Old Testament, New Testament.
Yeah. And so like that's, and I think that's pretty definitively what's going on. Like that makes too much sense.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Because I don't know what the wings mean, but like the 24 elders, that really sounds like that. And so you are worthy, O God, to receive glory and honor, power, for you created all things. So we have we have all this stuff. Anyone have anything else going on with this that I'd like to point out? All right, we'll read chapter 5 if everyone wants to hold their tongue. Let me get it ready. Okay, so Revelation 5. We'll see how far we get through. We don't have to do the whole thing. Man, this is taking a while today. What's going on? All right, let me get Zoom over to the conversation. All right, here we go. Revelation 5.
And I saw in the right hand of him who sat on the throne a scroll written inside, and on the back sealed with 7 seals. Then I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice,
"Who is worthy to open the scroll and to loose its seals?"
And no one in heaven or on earth or under the earth was able to open the scroll or to look at it. So I wept much, because no one was found worthy to open and read the scroll or to look at it. But one of the elders said to me,
"Do not weep. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, has prevailed to open the scroll and to loose its 7 seals."
And I looked, and behold, in the midst of the throne and of the 4 living creatures, and in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb, as though it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent out into all the earth. Then he came and took the scroll out of the right hand of him who sat on the throne. Now when he had taken the scroll, the 4 living creatures and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, each having a harp and golden bowls of incense, which are the prayers of the saints. And they sang a new song.
"You are worthy to take the scroll and to open its seals, for you were slain and have redeemed us to God by your blood out of every tribe and tongue and people and nation, and have made us kings and priests to our God, and we shall reign on the earth."
Then I looked, and I heard the voice of many angels around the throne, the living creatures and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000 and thousands of thousands, saying with a loud voice,
"Worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing."
And every creature which is in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and such as are in the sea, and all that are in them, I heard saying,
Blessing and honor and glory and power be to him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb forever and ever.
Then the 4 living creatures said,
Amen.
and the 24 elders fell down and worshipped him who lives forever and ever.
Okay. All right. So we'll see how much we get through this one. But again, it seems like we're giving a rubric for how to read some of this stuff coming up, because we're told some stuff. All right. So beginning near the beginning, what stood out to you?
I think this book reaffirms the one we just read, the chapter.
Yeah.
I think it's just another, it's almost like it's
that
making it look like, well, this is it, and this is.
So it's also replete with Christ imagery.
Yeah. Lots of Christ imagery. Yeah. So like I think, because remember, it's a very Hebrew document, and Greek thought is very linear. Like you start here and you end here, where Hebrew thought is very circuitous. It goes forward and it goes back, and that's just kind of how it functions. And so like when you can really see that when you read the Gospel of John. Like John is always calling back as it's moving forward through the narrative. And so that's kind of how Hebrew thought. And I think you were seeing some of that here. It's moving forward, but it's reminding us of the things that come already.
We quote or we echo Daniel or we echo Zechariah.
Yeah.
Which makes Revelations less traumatic. It's merely a continuation of, we've already been there, so relax.
Yeah. All these things, and especially as we get into the next chapter, when we start encountering these things that are scary, it's showing us. It's all this stuff, just like Mick said. We've read about these things before, and that's kind of why I've been talking about Babylon imagery. You know, we have talked about Babylon before, and it may have a different name now, but Revelation is showing it's like, yeah, we're calling Rome Babylon now. And so like that's.
Well, Mick is probably familiar with this because he's done it several times in his life, I'm sure. But
That's
back
troubling
in the early days when Mick was working up in New York, everything was written on scrolls, like back in those days.
Yeah.
And particular legal documents were sealed with 7 seals, according to the study Bible.
Oh, okay.
And I opened it very Christ-like.
Yeah.
One of the things I noticed is that the lamb isn't mentioned. The image of the lamb isn't totally in the 4th chapter, but he's now in the 5th chapter. That's why I wondered if the 5 or the 6 wings.
Proclaiming him as king. In that
Yes,
chapter,
but this is saying that he was sacrificed for us.
So that, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you're looking at
Everything
5 verse 6 is what you're looking at here. So we have the lamb. So like so we'll look at that here in a second. I want to look at that word again, because that's going. That statement there, it's one that is so familiar to Christians now, but that the elders stood in a lamb as though it had been slain, like that's that backwards beautiful nature of the kingdom of God type of thing. That is also the imagery that's brought up again on the last battle in Revelation. Like it's that imagery of the lamb that is slain is the same image in that last battle. So we'll see that as we go forward there. But I want to look up that word lamb and see if it's the same word or similar to the one that was in the 4 creatures. So we have this scroll with the 7 seals. 7 is a good number. It's all the seals, right? And no one is worthy. No one is worthy. Now, when they're talking about no one being worthy, that seems to harken back to some imagery in the Old Testament. Like, what does that sound like? Does that sound like who is worthy to go down or something like that? Does that have like Isaiah 6 imagery again? You know, I'm a man of unclean lips, surrounded by a people of unclean lips, and no one in heaven or on earth or under the earth was able to open it. Like we're picking up those cardinal directions again. You know, like that's it's not doing all of them, but it's picking them up. You know. So I wept again. That sounds like Isaiah. Like I'm not Isaiah chapter 6 when he says I'm not worthy to read. You know, I'm a man of unclean lips. And then one of the 24 goes like, don't cry about it. Like, don't cry over spilled milk. Like over there. And he goes, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, has prevailed. That's the other word I wanted to look up. So let's look up prevailed. How does it do? All your translations? Conquered. Interesting. Okay. That is, let's see, that is, I don't want 6, I want 5. And let's see here. And that's 6?
5.
Or 5? 5, wait, hold on,
It's 5.
It's verse 5? Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, let me get the Zoomers involved in this. Okay, let's get rid of the ad. And so the elders say, do not weep, behold, has overcome the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David. Okay, so notice what the literal word here is this has overcome, and this is the only time it's used. Let's look at another instance for it. Yeah. So it gets used in the when it's talking about the overcoming of the churches. It's used in then too. Yeah. Well, dang it. So how do you say that in Greek? This word right here. Inikish. Yeah. Yeah. What George said. George speaks Greek. like that. That's and so 1 John, you have overcome. So this word, I think we can pretty readily say that. Let me look at the Strong's Greek word. I want to scroll down here. Yeah, this is the same root word for all those overcomes of each church. So when this is what I was wondering. So when we read this, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, has overcome. It's the same word as all of those times you must overcome from all the churches. Remember when it said all those times that you got to overcome and all those things? That's the same root word as prevailed or conquer or whatever, however it's doing. It's the same root word. I think that is key, and I think it helps us to see how we're supposed to understand that overcome language of the 7 churches, which is interesting, right? Like, so we have this problem as we're looking at it, like, yeah, how do we overcome this? And again, it's like none of us can do it, but all of a sudden that same word brings in this rhyming and is overcome. I almost kind of think that should be translated overcome. I could be wrong about it, but I think that's interesting. Mm-hmm. So he has overcome to open the scroll and to loose its 7 seals. Like I think that's really cool. That'll probably preach at one point. So So then, what time is it? All right. So I looked, and behold, in the midst of the throne of the 4 living creatures, in the midst of the elders, stood a lamb as though it had been slain. So you have this picture before of all this power, like in the world, this Christ power. You have all these different animals, and like man, lion, sacrificial animal, and the soaring bird, and you have this thing, and then in the midst of all of that power, you have lamb that was slain, like, which is backwards. It's backwards, and it had 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent out to all the earth. So again, we have this image of the 4 creatures, which I think Gloria did a lot of the work there of establishing those 4 creatures, kind of are like this north, south, east, and west. All like it stands for the whole world. Like this, that you have this like Christ in the world, and in the midst of the Christ in the world, his true power is the Lamb that was slain, right? Like
It
that.
also reminds me of the 4 Gospels.
Okay, yeah, 4 Gospels.
Same way, because that's where we learned about Jesus, basically. Holy.
So see, all right. So Gloria's making a point there, and I think it's better than what you guys are realizing. There were so many more Gospels written than Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Like that's, yet we have those 4. I think the church is doing some work when it recommended the 4. Like these 4 earthly images of Christ, like over them, like it's kind of these 4 images, like over there. I think you can kind of look at it that way, which is kind of fun.
If you take the 4 Gospels, I think it gives them each character of Christ. Each one is a little different.
Yeah. I agree. I think that's good. And so then we have 7 horns, 7 eyes. We need to look for in the future of this book when we see horns and eyes yet again, because here we see it as the Spirit of God sent out to all of the earth. And then he came and took the scroll out of the right hand of him who sat on the throne. And that's, I think we'll have to end there.
Again, I think that's not tiptoeing around, it's suggesting the Trinity.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So the Spirit is there, the Father is there. Like that's the Son is there. Like that's good. I want to point out one more small thing before we go on. We'll go back to all these. But when they sing that new song, I want to make sure I don't forget this point, is and verse 10, and they've made us kings and priests to our God. So again, they throw down their crowns before them, but he has made us kings. Now remember, what does Christ mean in Greek? It means king. It's Messiah, right? Messiah is this king term. And then what does Christian mean? It's like little king, little Christ, little king, right? Like over there, you're seeing this language come out right here, like that. So I wrote Christian next to that, and so that's kind of what's going on there. So cool. I didn't want to forget that because I could see next week me completely being on to something else and forgetting that. All right. Was there anything else before we close up for today?
Next week, would you talk about what the scroll actually means, what the meaning of the scroll that he's holding?
Yeah, we can. You can remember. You can help us talk about that. And we'll read 5 again.
She'll hook me up, I'm sure, by then. But.
Oh yeah.
In the 1960s, Ingmar Bergman, who was a famous Swedish director, produced a film called The Seven Seals. It's a classic. I recommend you see it again.
Seven seals, yeah.
It's, at the time I saw it as a young man, I had no idea what it was about. Now, as an old man, I realized what the Seven Seals were about.
Okay.
And it's a recurrent theme throughout literature.
Yeah. Yeah. All these things. Good. All right. Well, that's so. For all of you that are watching this recorded on YouTube, thank you for joining us today. All right. So, are there any